Hey folks, Russ Bailey here. It's time for another BrushPile Fishing, the video podcast. We are actually coming to you live from the water down here at Wheeler Lake in Alabama. It's the last weekend of March, but we're going to talk April fishing with my good friend Kevin McCarley. Kevin, how we doing?
I'm doing great, buddy. Doing great.
I'll tell you what, Kevin. So you and I have done several shows together. We just got off the water today doing one. And I'll tell you what we did, folks. We one show per series now. We want to get with a different tournament angler. We did Tom Hankins this year and show how they go about fishing the live scope when they're in a tournament. And we actually had some tough conditions today. It got down to 31 degrees.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the weather follows us. The big eye opener today for me was some of those fish that were in the structure I thought you would get to hit pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the tougher ones for you to catch.
Yes, sir.
But those roamers, when you started going for them, and it could have been because it warmed up some, but man, those things were aggressive. The difference between the fish coming out of the brush and chasing that jig, you knew they were half in it.
That's right. That's right.
The roaming fish this afternoon, them things were all business. They were a lot faster, and you just knew they weren't stopping.
That's right. That's right. And you also want to actually speed that bait up.
Yep.
When you get conditions like that and those fish are super active and you get on them, that's when, as you're bringing that bait up, just continue. Don't ever stop. Don't ever slow down your retrieve.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Do not slow your retrieve. If anything, speed it up.
I got to see it.
Yeah, that last big fish we caught, he was coming. I knew he was coming, so I just started speeding up. Bam, he nailed it. It's almost like that bait. They don't want it to get away.
Yeah.
And if you start pulling it and taking it away from them, they're gonna smash it. And one of the guys that taught me that's Eric Cagle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best in the country, and that's the way one of his little key secrets, I guess. Not so
It's
much
worked
a
out
secret
well for him.
anymore. It has. It's worked out great. But it took me a couple of years with this live scope to learn how to catch these roaming fish. I remember being in a tournament a couple of years ago up on Kentucky Lake, roaming fish everywhere, but I had no experience at it.
Mm-hmm.
Ended up bombing out in the tournament. Boy, what I wouldn't give to go back 2 years knowing what I know now about how to catch roaming fish.
Yeah.
And it's all about just getting it above their head where they can see it and then start taking it away from them.
And once you started going after the roamers today, you're right. As soon as they seen it, it was on. You knew you were getting them fish.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Well, let's talk about something different, okay?
Sure.
Let's talk the month of April
Mm-hmm.
down here in Alabama. And I know we've done shows in Gunnersville. You guide on other lakes too.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had some outstanding shows. I know here on Wheeler today turned out good. We did a great fall show.
Mm-hmm.
What's some other lakes you're guiding on?
I'm guiding on Cedar Creek and Little Bear. Those are the Bear Creek Development Association lakes. The reason I guide on those is because you have to be Coast Guard certified to be able to actually guide on the Tennessee River because you have barge traffic. It's navigable waters. Yeah. But you can guide anywhere. That's why so many people guide on Grenada, places like that, the impounds. But me personally, I'll stick to those places over toward Russellville, Alabama. If anybody's interested in a trip over there, those lakes are full of fish. You're not going to catch many 260s over there, but you're going to catch enough to fill a cooler and put them in the freezer.
Well, before we go on, what is the best way for someone to reach you for a guide trip?
Yeah, you can just either send me a message on Facebook Messenger. That's how a lot of people get in touch with me. Or you can give me a call. The number's 256-431-8917. And that's for Kevin McCarley Fishing.
So, Kevin, the month of April, especially let's talk about the first 3 weeks of April.
Mm-hmm.
What are the fish doing down here?
They're getting on the bed.
Okay.
They're on the bed. You're going to have those males are already there now. You've got all these females that are just full of eggs right now, waiting to go on. That male's going to get in there, get that nest ready. Those females will move on up and lay, and you'll be able to catch females on the nest first 2 weeks of April.
I know today we had 59-degree water temperature, but we had 31-degree air temp this morning, and I know you said you've had some days in the 80s.
Yes.
Until we brought that weather from the north.
You brought it with you from Ohio. I know you did. You always do it every time to me, Russ.
So if someone books a trip with you during April, what kind of fishing you want to be doing with? Are you going to be spider rigging? You going to be doing this? Or I know this can be tough. So what are you doing?
Majority of the time I'm going to live scope. Since I've learned it, I've gotten a lot better than when I started. And I feel like I can put somebody in the seat next to me and coach them, and within an hour or so,
they're
going to be catching fish, especially on those roaming fish, how aggressive they are. They're going to catch them if they get a bait. The hardest thing for somebody to learn is where to put that bait.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to understand that the way that trolling motor's facing, you know, think that transducer's shooting only a 15-degree cone.
Right.
So you've got to really get
It's
that bait.
It's
got to be on the money. But I have found with people, even kids, you know, kids take to it probably better than people my age or older.
The video generation.
The video generation, man, they take to this kind of stuff so easy. And I had a group of kids last week, and those guys, I would take turns with them and let them sit up there with me. And man, they were just so into that screen and seeing those fish. And it didn't take long till I just showed them, and they understood.
Let them do it, yeah.
Let them do it. And, you know, I started out, I'd set the hook, hand them the rod. And then they wanted to do it themselves. You know, and that's what it's all about. You know, getting their interest and giving them a memory that they'll, you know, always have of going out, catching big fish or a bunch of fish, or just the fact of, you know, doing something new that they had never done before. And a lot of people want to do that. Now, I'm all about spider rigging. Sometimes that's the best route. We'll spider rig, or we may even long line. When I first started crappie fishing tournaments, that's all I knew how to do was long line in the pre-live scope days. But since the live scopes come out, that's probably one of the best ways to fill the box quick.
Mm-hmm.
You can put fish in the boat quick using live scope. To me, a lot quicker than you can spider rigging or long line.
Although, now, the last show that we did, I believe, was on Gunnersville, where we spider rigged. Now, it was cold that day too, folks. Windy and cold. But I tell you what, that's the first time we used live scope spider rigging.
Yes.
And I remember you saying, okay, watch number 3 pole or whatever, because you could see fish coming up on them baits.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty effective. And we tore them up. And that's the thing, folks. If you come down here with Kevin, you know, if there's a certain way you like to fish, ask him. You know, because we've done long lining shows, and we've caught sticks.
We've caught sticks.
We caught
even
sticks
got photos.
We
of
do,
stick.
man. We've got proof.
You know,
but we've spider rigged, we've long lined.
Yeah.
Today, like I say, I was here just kind of letting you explain to folks what you're doing when you're tournament fishing. Now, the one thing you said, you need some more practice on dock shooting.
Yes, I'm terrible.
And I'm looking down here, and folks, I'm seeing boathouse after boathouse after dock, long, extravagant docks.
Yes.
You know that's killing me, don't you?
I know it is.
Huh?
That one right there always holds fish. I see them under there, but I'm the guy that's banging the boathouse the whole time. You know, I need practice.
Well, you know
that's what it takes is practice. You just got to get out there.
Well, if I'm back down this way in the next couple of weeks, maybe I'll swing over. We'll do a little
Come
dock
see
shoot.
me, man. We'll
no
go
cameras, no nothing. We'll just go dock
just
shoot.
come fishing with me, man. We'll have a good time doing it. You know.
All right. One thing I want to talk about before we close this this podcast out. Today we taped that show, folks. We ended the show. Kevin caught a 264, I believe, 265, somewhere around. Big fish, okay? Belly like this. And one of the things he was doing was being versatile today. He had 2 rods that he was using, the brush cutter, 12-footer, but also an 8-foot diamond series. And he was switching on and off all day depending on where those fish were and what he had to do to get those. And that diamond series is such a light rod. But that last fish, he boat flipped that baby in here. 264, I believe it was, boat flip. It is an awesome rod. Not trying to make this into a commercial, but I know that thing has caught fire in the crappie industry. And you showed today, you can get the job done with
It's a great rod. It's versatile. You can use it for casting these roaming fish, or I used it last week. Had a group, like I said, those kids, we started out long lining.
Yep.
Great long lining rod because it's got enough play in the end. You can really see that bite when you're long lining.
Yep. Well, like I say, folks, we've had a great time down here. Been a little bit cool earlier this morning, but it turned out to be a nice day. And Kevin, again, thanks for joining us not only on today's show, but on the podcast.
Hey, it's been a pleasure, man. It's great meeting people like you in the industry, and we've become good friends.
We have.
And I know this isn't our last show.
Dude, we're going to be at the media camp, too.
Sounds good. I can't wait for that. It's going to be so much fun. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be a good time. A lot of good people there.
Yeah. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for all our video podcasts. Make sure if you don't have that BrushPile app on your phone, get that. Whether you have an Android or an Apple phone, completely free to get. has everything you want on there. All of our shows, you have access. It always shows the latest show first, but you can see any of them that you want. The section that I like is our guide section. Say you watch a show with Kevin and you think, man, I'd like to book a trip with him. Go to our guide section, go to Kevin McCarley. You can actually email him or go to his Facebook page or call him directly through that. And again, it's completely free. So check it out. Kevin, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Appreciate it, bud. Had a great time.
Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for another video podcast right here on BrushPile Fishing.
Good.